Oh man, I'm late to the party today.
You're fine.
Good morning, all.
Good
Uh,
morning.
I don't know who got my list. Bunting, Ashton, and Damien are gonna one of those three. I'll just announce them when they start showing up.
I forward the email
Looks
to
like Mr.
everybody.
Dame. I'm sorry.
I send the email, the your email to everybody.
Okay, cool. Damien is sitting down. He'll be first. Not quite sure what's your name. Bunting, yeah, have a seat right there. Bunting will be second. Ashton. Yeah, Casey came in this report. All right, just have a seat right over there if you would. All right, it looks like Damien, Bunting, and then Ashton.
Okay.
Okay, back soon.
Good afternoon. It looks like everyone is here, so let's go ahead and get started.
All right. For reference, Damien first, Ashton second, Bunting third, and they are all three sitting right here.
Okay.
Mr. Damien's first.
Good afternoon, Mr. Damian. I'm Judge Schultz with the Kansas City, Kansas Municipal Court. You are not being held on the city cases. You have a KDOC hold. We've already granted you an OR on your city cases. But if you are convicted of your city cases, there is the possibility of jail time. So we have appointed an attorney to your case. Mr. Lilich, I'm guessing you want to speak to your client in a breakout room? Mr. Lilich? Can anybody hear me?
I can
Okay,
hear you, Judge. I can hear you,
Okay.
Judge.
I can hear you too.
okay.
Can
Mr. Doyle,
you hear
can
me?
you hear me?
I
I
can,
can hear
ma'am.
you. Okay, so it looks like we're having maybe a problem with just Mr. Lilich. Is that right? Yeah, we cannot hear him. Okay. So Mr. Doyle, if you'll give us a few minutes, I'm guessing that he has called for some assistance.
Sure.
If you would let Mr. Damian know, we'll get him back on as soon as, oh, look, it's trying to connect. No, it didn't connect. It did not like that, did it? Yeah, so your audio has not connected. Mr. Lilich, you may want to disconnect and get back on. I don't know if you've tried also calling Dominic. Sometimes he's pretty good at figuring out issues.
Oh, fingers crossed. No audio, Shane. Okay.
I did send him a message suggesting that it might be best to actually leave. A lot of times, if I can't get that audio to connect right away, it just does not want to connect for some reason. So I don't know. We'll see. So hopefully he'll, or maybe he's gone to find Dominic or something. But we'll just hold on for a little bit. I was so excited. I thought, ooh, we're gonna start early today.
No audio, Shane.
Yeah, he still has no audio. Maybe if he leaves and comes back.
Let me go next door to let him know.
Thank you, Miss Valdivino.
Oh, sorry. I went to, he's logging off and coming back, okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. No, Shane, it shows that you're trying to connect to audio. That's it.
Can you hear now? Yep, you're good.
Oh,
Yes.
okay, great. Thanks, Tom. I
Not a
appreciate
problem.
it.
Yep.
Okay. No, don't let Dominic leave. It's all on Dominic. Make sure he stays there.
Can can you guys hear me?
Yes, we
Yes.
can.
All right,
Okay.
great. Okay,
Everybody-
we,
Sounds good. Let's restart with Mr. Damien.
Here we go.
Good afternoon, Mr. Damian. Thank you for your patience. As I stated earlier, I am Judge Schultz with the Kansas City, Kansas Municipal Court. You're not being held on your city cases, but we're going to put you in a virtual breakout room to speak to your attorney. If you just leave the headphones on and let Mr. Doyle know that you need to leave them on and let him know you need to go to the virtual breakout room, Ms. Valdivino will send an invitation shortly.
Got it.
Mr. Lilich, have you had an opportunity to speak to your client?
I have, Your Honor. Thank you. Your Honor, the city has made a plea offer to resolve Mr. Damian's pending charges. I have reviewed that plea offer with Mr. Damian. I've explained to him that he has an absolute right to have a trial on these charges. After reviewing the offer with him, he would like to accept the offer. Your Honor, my understanding of the offer is that the city has offered that if he pleads guilty to possession of drug paraphernalia, the city will move to dismiss the interference with a police officer count. The city will not be requesting an underlying sentence. However, the city will request as part of the plea agreement a total of $150 in fines and costs. Your Honor, after reviewing that with Mr. Damian, I would ask that the court adopt that agreement as its final order. Mr. Damian has advised me he has been in custody for a period of time. I would ask that the court not only adopt this agreement, but also order that he be released from any holds in KCK Municipal Court today.
So just so everyone's clear, he is only being held on a KDOC hold. The city is not holding him. He was granted an OR bond, let's see, back on December 16th. So it really is only KDOC holding him. Mr. Damian, that recitation of the plea offer that you'd be pleading guilty to the one count of paraphernalia and dismissing the interference with an officer, is that your understanding of the plea
Yes.
offer? And do you understand that you do have the right to a trial?
Yes.
And do you understand that at a trial, Mr. Lilich or one of the other appointed attorneys would help you at that trial?
Yes.
And do you understand that before going to trial, you'd be able to look at the discovery, the police reports, that kind of thing to prepare for the trial?
Yes.
And do you understand that at a trial, your attorney would be able to ask witnesses questions?
Yes.
And do you understand that if you did go to trial and you were to be found guilty, you would be able to appeal that decision to the Wyandotte County District Court?
Yes.
And knowing all of that, are you wanting to accept that plea offer?
Yeah.
Okay, I will go ahead and accept your plea and I will adopt the sentencing recommendations. We will continue this for payment. I don't know if anything's updated. Let's see. Give me 1 second to see. Let's see. No, I still haven't. It just says that it was received December 16th. Okay. We'll continue this to February 24th at 1 p.m. for payment. If you are still in the Wyandotte County Jail at that point, we will give you more time. If you have been brought to a KDOC location, once you get out, go ahead and get a letter of incarceration and bring it up to our municipal court clerk's office and they can work with you, okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Ashton, Mr. Ashton. Ashton will be next.
Good afternoon, Mr. Ashton.
Good afternoon.
It looks like right now you have a $1,000 cash bond pending on the city cases. I'm Judge Schultz with the Kansas City, Kansas Municipal Court.
Hello.
And if you are found guilty on at least some of the charges, the city is seeking jail time. You have been appointed an attorney. We're going to let you go to the virtual breakout room and speak with your attorney. So if you just leave the headphones on and let Mr. Doyle know you need to go to the breakout room.
Breakout room.
Thank you. And Mr. Lilich, I don't know if you're aware, but it looks like he has an hold from Overland Park. Mr. Lilich, have you had an opportunity to speak to your client?
I have, Your Honor. Thank you. The city has made a plea offer in Mr. Ashton's case. I have had the opportunity to review that offer with him. I have explained to Mr. Ashton that he has an absolute right to have a trial, and his rights related to trial, on his pending charges. After that discussion, he has opted to accept the city's plea offer. My understanding of that offer is that he will be pleading guilty to theft and escape from custody. And in exchange for that plea, the city will be moving to dismiss resisting arrest and interference with an officer. As part of the agreement, the city is going to be requesting a 60-day underlying sentence, that Mr. Ashton be placed on supervised probation for 6 months from that sentence, on the condition that he complete a checkmate class, not violate the law, and pay a total of $200 in fines and court costs. I have discussed with Mr. Ashton the impact this could potentially have on his criminal history score for sentencing purposes and other cases. He's advised me that's not of concern to him. Your Honor, I'd ask that you adopt this plea agreement that I've described as the court's final order in this matter.
Okay, Mr. Ashton,
Yes,
uh,
ma'am.
I just want to make sure we're all on the same page here. It's my understanding that the city would be, oh, give me one second, dismissing the resisting arrest and the interference with a law enforcement officer. You'd be entering a guilty plea to 1 count of escape from custody and 1 count of petty theft. There would be a 60-day underlying sentence, meaning you don't do the time as long as you comply with the terms of the probation.
Yes, ma'am.
The probation is a 6-month term. You have to take a checkmate class. You can pay to do it, or there is a free version offered through court, which the municipal probation will tell you about.
Okay.
If you do take the plea, not to violate the law, refrain from negative law enforcement, and pay the fines and costs, which are $200. Is that your understanding of the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
And those rights that Mr. Lilich was talking about, the right to a trial, assistance of counsel, review of discovery, confront witnesses, the right to appeal, and any kind of potential impact on your criminal history.
100%
Your
understood.
understanding of those? Okay. And are you in fact wanting to accept the plea?
I do.
Okay. Give me 1 second. Okay, you will get released from us later today. You do have a hold from Overland Park. I have
Yes,
no
ma'am.
idea what's going on with that. So I don't know if you'll, actually be able to leave today or not. What I am going to do is I'm going to continue this for a probation check-in on February 13th at 10 a.m. If for some reason you are in Overland Park's custody at that time, when you get out, make sure you ask them for a letter of incarceration and bring it up to our municipal court clerk's office so that they can work with you on getting that rescheduled, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
And we'll
What date
send
was that?
something
February
over-
what?
13th, we'll send something over to the jail and they'll make sure that they put a copy in your property so it goes with you, okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you. You are good to go.
Thank you very much.
And next, Michael Bunting, Mr. Bunting.
Give me 1 second. Good afternoon, Mr. Bunting. I'm Judge Schultz with the Kansas City, Kansas Municipal Court. Just give me 1 moment and I'll get your case brought up.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so it looks like, Mr. Bunting, on the city case, you have been given an OR bond. But if you are convicted of the city case, there is the possibility of jail time. So you have been appointed an attorney. We're gonna have you leave the headphones on, but tell Mr. Doyle that you need to go to the virtual breakout room to speak to your attorney, okay?
Virtual breakout, yeah.
Yeah. Mr. Lilich, did you have an opportunity to speak to your client?
I did. Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, the city has made a plea offer to resolve Mr. Bunning's sole pending domestic battery charge. I have had the opportunity to review that offer with Mr. Bunning. I have explained to Mr. Bunning that he has an absolute right to have a trial in this case and his rights related to trial. I've also explained to Mr. Bunning that by entering a plea of guilty to this charge, a person misdemeanor, it could potentially impact his criminal history score for felony sentencing purposes and other cases. I've also explained to him that by entering a plea to domestic battery, he will be precluded from lawfully owning or possessing a firearm for at least during the period of time he's on probation. Despite those caveats, he would like to accept the city's plea offer. It's my understanding that offer is that he will be pleading guilty to domestic battery. In exchange for that sentence, the city will be asking for a 90-day underlying sentence, that he be ordered to serve 2 days in jail, that he obtain a domestic violence assessment and follow the recommendations, that he have no violent contact with the alleged victim, and that he pay a total of $223.50 in fines and costs. Your Honor, after reviewing that with them, I would ask that the court adopt that agreement as its final order.
Okay. Mr. Bunting, first, I want to make sure that plea offer that Mr. Lilich just reviewed, that is your understanding of what the plea offer is.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then I know he talked about how you had those rights. I just want to make sure we're all on the same page about those. Do you understand that you do have the right to a trial, assistance of counsel, review of discovery, to confront witnesses, and to appeal if you were to go to trial and were found guilty?
Yes,
And do you understand that there could be a potential impact on your criminal history?
I do.
Okay, and do you understand that at least during the term of probation, you would not be able to possess or own a firearm?
Yes,
Okay, and knowing all of that, do you want to accept that plea?
yes.
Okay. Excuse me one moment. I will go ahead and accept that plea. And I will adopt the sentencing recommendation of the city. I do not see a new date on your district court case. Do you know when you are set on that next? Mr. Bunting,
Yes, ma'am.
do you know when your district court case is set? No, that's okay.
No, ma'am.
Okay, what I'm gonna do is we will put this on February 13th at 10 a.m. If you're still in custody at that time, we will just give you more time and go from there, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
You can give the headphones to Mr. Doyle.
Just checking we're all through there.
Yes.
All right, new pod, Alberto Diaz. He's not far away, so I'll be back soon.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Lilich?
Yes.
Hi, do you
Hi.
remember this? We had this gentleman last Friday. And that was still with you. I think this was the gentleman who he did not wish to accept the plea because we needed to ask a question about whether or not his wife was still wishing to press charges. And I think I emailed you about that, sir. I'm pretty sure I did, but I just kind of wanted to jog your memory.
You know what? That sounds familiar to me. And this is on again, which defendant?
Mr. Diaz, Alberto.
Oh, yes, I did receive that email. You indicated in that email that his wife does not wish to have contact with him.
No, sir, not as far as we are aware, and that she is intending on proceeding with
Okay,
our case.
I will let him know that specifically today.
Okie dokie, sir. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
Pardon me, Judge, Mr. Diaz is here.
Okay, we are ready. Good afternoon, Mr. Diaz. We're just gonna wait one
afternoon.
moment for your attorney to come on, and then we'll proceed.
Sorry,
Okay,
Judge.
there we go. It looks like right now, Mr. Diaz has a $2,500 cash bond that he'd have to post. Mr. Lilich, do you want to speak to your client first, or do you want to be heard on bond first?
Let's go ahead and take up the bond, Your Honor. Your Honor, I know Mr. Diaz has been in for better than 7 days. We saw him last week on the jail docket. I would ask that the court consider granting him a own recognizance bond at this point, based on the time he has been in custody. Off the top of my head, I don't remember him having any other holds. Ms. Hutton has given me some new information about his case, but insofar as him continuing to be incarcerated, I think that purpose has reached its end.
Ms. Hutton, would the city like to be heard?
No, Your Honor. Well, we don't have an objection to an OR bond at this time, Your Honor.
Okay. It is going to be an OR bond with a special condition. Ms. Hutton, do you have the name of the complaining witness on the domestic related cases?
Yes, ma'am. If I just one moment, please.
Thank you.
Your Honor, that would be Miss Luz Torres,
Okay,
Luztorres.
okay. And are you aware, do they have children in common?
I do not believe any under the age of majority, ma'am.
Okay, so this is going to be an OR bond with special condition. You are not to have any contact with the complaining witness in the case, Luz Torres. And then Mr. Lilich will give you an opportunity to speak to your client, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
I don't know. He wanna talk to me, but I don't know.
They say go to the breakout room.
Yes,
I think
please.
Breakout
Yes,
room.
I'm so sorry,
Yes,
Mr.
please.
Diaz. Will you tell him that you need to see your attorney?
He just went into the breakout room, Shane, to find you. He was a little lost.
Okay, thank you very much.
Mr. Lilich, have you had an opportunity to speak to your client?
I have, Your Honor. Thank you. The city has made a plea offer to resolve Mr. Diaz Arroyo's pending charges. I have reviewed that plea offer with him. I have explained to him that he has an absolute right to have a trial on these charges. I've explained his rights related to trial. I've pointed out to him that if he enters a plea of guilty to domestic battery, as per the plea offer, that he will be prohibited from owning or possessing a firearm for at least the duration of time he's on probation. I've also explained to him that this plea offer that's been made may impact his criminal history score for felony sentencing purposes and other cases. Your Honor, despite those caveats, and the discussion we had about his trial rights, he'd like to accept the plea offer. Your Honor, my understanding of the plea offer is that he will be pleading guilty to 2 counts of domestic battery. In exchange for that plea, the city will recommend a 360-day underlying sentence, that he be ordered to serve 5 days in jail, that he be placed on probation from the balance of that sentence for 1 year on the condition that he obtained a domestic violence evaluation, have no contact with the alleged victim in this case, pay a total of fines and costs of $400. Your Honor, I would ask that the court consider and adopt that plea agreement that I just summarized as the court's final order.
Mr. Diaz Arroyo, I want to make sure we're all on the same page, okay? The
Yeah.
rights that Mr. Lilich was talking about, the right to a trial, assistance of counsel, review of discovery, confronting witnesses, and the right to appeal. Is that your understanding of those rights?
Right. Uh-huh.
Okay, and then I also want to make sure you do understand that there is a potential impact on your criminal history score, for example, for felony sentencing purposes. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and do you understand that you will not be able to possess or own a firearm at least during the term of the probation?
I never did in my life.
Okay. And then I also want to make sure I understand the plea offer correctly. It's for the overarching sentence is 365 days. 5 days must be done in jail, or was it 40 hours on house arrest? I'm sorry, I can't. Let me bring that back up. I know he'd have credit for the 5 days since he's been in since January 4th, but I just want to make sure I'm understanding what the underlying sentence is.
Judge, actually looking at it again, it's printed as 265 days as an underlying sentence. I'm not sure that was the city's intention or not.
Okay, so Ms. Hutton, was it supposed to be 365 days underlying?
I believe so, ma'am, yes.
Okay, could we
That's
get
what
that?
and I
Is that-
discussed that with my client.
Okay, and could you, Ms. Hutton, get that updated in the attorney rec?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay. And Mr. Diaz Arroyo, I want to make sure you understand that you'd be entering a guilty plea to 2 counts of domestic battery, and the remaining charges, assault, violation of a protection order, failure to appear, and drinking in public, would be dismissed. Is that your understanding?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and all those terms of probation, a 1-year probation, get a domestic violence evaluation, follow the recommendations, not to violate the law, refrain from negative law enforcement contact, $400 total in fines between the two, and no violent contact with Luz Torres. Is that your understanding of that plea offer?
Yes, I did.
And are you in fact wanting to accept that plea offer?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so what we will do is I will accept that plea offer and I will adopt the city's sentencing recommendations. Since you have been in since January 4th, you're gonna go ahead and get credit for that time served. You will get out later today that, and then you'll need to appear in person January 30th at City Hall at 10 a.m. for probation orientation. When they release you from jail later today, they'll give you a piece of paper that shows that, okay? We have to
Okay.
finish our whole docket first before we send the paperwork over to the jail. So you'll get out today, but it might be a few hours, okay?
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. And Ms. Hutton, if you could just let us know when you have it updated so that Ms. Valdivino can wait until it's updated to accept it.
It is updated, ma'am. Would you
Okay.
like it emailed?
No, that's, well,
Okay.
Mr. Lilich might, but I don't need it.
Your Honor, one point of clarification. I had thought that the city was asking for a no contact order as a condition of the probation.
Yeah, it says no violent contact.
Okay.
I don't know if there's here's what I will say. If there is a protection order in place from the district court, Mr. Diaz Arroyo, you need to abide by that for sure, okay? And it could be no contact, I don't know, because I don't have a copy of that order. But whatever that order states, you need to comply with that, okay? So if the order from district court says no contact, that supersedes the no violent contact that the city requested in the plea offer, okay?
So that means I'm not gonna go back to the apartment, so I gotta go another, get another place to stay?
If whatever the protection order from district court says, you have to abide by it. If it says absolutely no contact, you can have no contact. Okay?
Okay, but, what about she's not there? She's with, my daughter.
I don't, you can certainly contact the sheriff's department to try to do a civil standby to make sure you get your items, okay?
Okay, because I got all my stuff in there, or my
Right,
wallet,
that's why
my,
you contact the sheriff's department and ask
Uh-huh.
them to do a civil standby, okay?
okay,
All right, thank you.
thank you.
You can give the headphones back to Mr. Doyle.
All right, sounds like you're done there, Judge.
Yes.
All right, the next three are all in the same pod, different floor. I'll call them out when they come and I'll be back soon.
Okay, thank you.
Your Honor, I'm going to need to step away for one moment, please.
Thank you.
Shane,
Yes.
what court date did the guy, was he continue for probation, Diaz Arroyo?
Yes,
He was
yes, he
continued to
was.
January 30th at 10 a.m.
Oh, thank you.
Judge, we're back. Sorry about a little delay.
Okay,
A-
sounds
And
good.
first up will be Rodolfo Marquez.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Marquez. Just give me a moment to get your case brought up. Oh, yes. Okay. So, Ms. Hutton, the first thing I wanted to ask is the DUI from 2018. Is the city able to proceed on that? It looks like it's an Officer Garrett case.
So when I spoke with Mr. Weaver about that earlier today, he indicated that he did not believe that we would be able to proceed on that. But Miss Fant also said that Officer Garrett was appearing on some of his cases in district court. So I believe that Mr. Weaver is going to be trying to move forward with that case.
Okay. So, Mr. Marquez, the officer in question has retired. That's why we're kind of having this conversation. So Officer Garrett retired, gosh, Mr. Lilich, do you remember when? A couple
Well, I
of
want to
years
say
ago?
4 years ago now.
Right, and so for a period of time, he did agree to come to municipal court cases, and that time is over. We scheduled a large amount of them during that time, and it is my understanding, at least for the last 2 years, Officer Garrett has not appeared in municipal court. So,
I do not believe we will be moving forward with the 2018 case, ma'am.
okay, so because of that, that is the only thing that would be jail time on. So, Mr. Marquez, I am going to withdraw the appointed defense counsel from your case. I am going to grant you an OR bond. I know you have holds from Olathe and Shawnee. I'm going to put your matters, so you still have other traffic matters unrelated that are from 2021. So we're going to continue your cases to February 25th at 1 p.m. I don't know if Olathe or Shawnee are going to pick you up. Also, if for some reason one of them does and you are still in their custody on February 25th, when you get out, ask them for a letter of incarceration and you can bring it up to our municipal court clerk's office and they can work with you on getting you a new court date, okay?
Okay, sounds great.
All right, thank you. Have a good day.
All right, thank you.
You'll get released from our stuff later today.
Just checking, no public defender for him. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
No more.
Yeah, no more. Mr. Bryant, Edward Bryant.
Yes. Mr.
Hi.
Bryant, how are you?
All right.
If you just give me one moment while I finish taking notes on Mr. Marquez, and then I will bring up your case, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Mhm. Table or no?
Okay, Mr. Bryant, it
Yes.
looks like you are being held on the city cases. There is a $1,000 bond pending, and if you are found guilty of at least some of them. The city is seeking jail time. You have been appointed an attorney. Mr. Lilich, do you want to be heard on bond first, or do you want to speak to your client first?
Actually, Judge, how long has Mr. Bryant been in custody?
He was booked yesterday.
Oh, okay. How about
January 16th.
how about I
I'm
speak to
not
Ms.
sure what time exactly, but it must have been after we reviewed who was booked in yesterday. And I look at it, kind of like, I get it at 7 in the morning, so it had to have been sometime after 7 a.m.
Okay, thank
Like,
you,
is
Judge.
that, yeah,
Maybe
okay,
I should speak to him first.
sounds good. Okay, so Mr. Bryant, you're gonna leave your headphones on and tell the person that gave you the headphones you need to go to the virtual breakout room to speak to your attorney. Thank
She said I
you.
need to go somewhere. Where I need to go?
No, you don't need to. I'll take care of it.
Okay.
We're gonna do this electronically into a breakout.
Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm not sure if this is appropriate time, but looking back on Mr. Bryant's performance on probation before, I do not believe he's amenable to probation at this time, if that's being considered.
I do not know what Miss Hutton offered. You may want to make a phone call to her.
I did in
I
fact,
should not have any discussion regarding what a plea offer is before.
Okay.
So if you want to maybe try to call her.
Ms. Hutton, may I ask, what's your extension?
5094, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Mr. Lilich, did you have an opportunity to speak to your client?
I did, Your Honor. Thank you. The city has made a plea offer in Mr. Bryant's case. I have reviewed that plea offer with him, and he would decline that offer at this time. He'd like the opportunity to meet with our office and review discovery for his pending charges. Your Honor, Mr. Bryant advises me that his daughter is dependent upon him to be out of jail. I spoke with him about his failure to appear. He tells me that he forgot his court date. Although he may have failed to appear on other court dates, he has assured me that should the court grant him an OR bond and give him a court date down the road, that he promises to appear for any court date you may set, and that he will be scheduling an appointment with our office.
Ms. Hutton, what is the city's position on bond?
Your Honor, I don't believe we have an objection to an OR bond.
Okay, give me one. Mr. Bryant, I am willing to grant you an OR bond, but it is an OR bond with special conditions.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
are not to return to 748 Washington,
That's not a problem.
54 State Avenue.
Okay,
You're to have no violent contact with Joanne Phillips
okay,
and no violent contact with Fred Bryant, okay?
okay, okay,
We're going to continue this to January 23rd at 1 p.m. If you
okay,
fail to appear on January 23rd at 1 p.m., the judge could issue a bench warrant with a no bond hold. And that means that you'll be held until you resolve the case, okay? So please make sure
Okay.
you appear in person January 23rd at 1 p.m. You'll get out
Okay.
later today. We have to finish seeing everyone else on the docket and then we'll send the paperwork over. So it could be a few hours, but you'll get out later today, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Mhm.
Mr. Washington. Mr. Washington next.
Good afternoon, Mr. Washington. I'm Judge Schultz with the Kansas City, Kansas Municipal Court. It looks like right now you have a $4,750 cash bond pending. If you are convicted, of the charges against you, there is the possibility of jail time. You have been appointed an attorney. Mr. Lilich, your client was booked in yesterday. Do you want to speak to your client first or be heard on bond first?
Could I speak to him first, Your Honor?
Yes, so Mr. Washington, go ahead and leave the headphones on, but tell the person that gave you the headphones that you need to go to the breakout room.
Okay, go to breakout room for attorney.
Yeah, I got it. Leave those on. Gonna let you talk to the public defender.
Hello. Hey, I'm sorry. I'm looking at Rodney Washington, who we're on now.
Yes.
Miss Holton, I think you may have accidentally muted yourself.
She was actually speaking to me on the phone, so
Gotcha. Sorry.
Mr. Lilich, have you had an opportunity to speak to your client?
Your Honor, I have, Mr. Washington's having a little trouble today. I don't think we're going to be very productive today. However, I would ask that the court consider the time he has been incarcerated, consider reducing his bond to an OR bond, and giving him a court date down the road and ordering him to personally appear.
Ms. Hutton, what is the city's position on an OR bond?
Your Honor, the amount of cases that he's currently in on, as well as the bond amounts, I don't believe that the city would agree with an OR bond at this time.
Okay. So it looks like Mr. Washington was booked at some point yesterday. I am not willing to do an OR bond, but I will reduce it to a $500 cash bond. Let's see.
I'll talk to you about it again later, Sue. I don't know what the
We
trouble
will
is.
see you again next Friday if you don't get that bond posted.
Okay. And my dad is throwing his tickets off of me. When I was arrested, I was using my ATF1 phone, and he told me that he was throwing his tickets off of me.
Okay, so
So,
what we'll do is we're gonna continue this to next Friday, January 24th. If you get the bond posted, then you'll need to appear in person. Otherwise, we'll see you on video January 24th at 1 o'clock,
okay.
okay?
Thank you, Keith.
Just checking we're done there, Judge.
Yes,
All right, our last one, moving down to the female pod, that'll be Imhoff. I'll be back soon.
yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Pardon me, Judge, Ms. Imhoff is ready.
Good. Wait. Good afternoon, Ms. Imhoff. I'm Judge Schultz with the Kansas City, Kansas Municipal Court. It looks like currently you have a $500 cash bond that you would need to post to get out. If you are found guilty on at least some of the charges, the city is seeking jail time and you have been appointed an attorney. We're gonna ask your attorney, Mr. Lilich, do you want to be heard on bond first or do you want to speak to your client first?
How about I speak to my client, Your Honor?
Sounds good. So Ms. Imhoff, you're going to leave the headphones on, but tell the person who gave you the headphones that you need to go to the virtual breakout room.
Yeah.
Done. Said something like, tell me to leave the breakout room or go back to the courtroom.
Mr. Lulich, have you had an opportunity to speak to your client?
I have, Your Honor. Thank you. The city has made a plea offer to resolve Ms. Imhoff's pending matters before this court. I have reviewed that plea offer with her. I've explained to her that she does have an absolute right to have a trial on these charges. After that discussion and reviewing the plea offer with her, she'd like to accept the plea offer. My understanding of that offer is that she will be pleading guilty to panhandling. In exchange, the city will move to dismiss the remaining charges, which I believe are 3 counts of failure to appear. The city will not be opposed to her having credit for time served of 1 day. Your Honor, Ms. Imhoff advises me that she's been in custody since January the 14th. I'd ask that the court adopt this plea agreement as its final order, give her credit for time served, and release her from custody today.
Okay, so I just want to make sure. Oh, shoot. Clicked the wrong button. I hate that when that happens. That I'm understanding correctly that the failures to appear would be dismissed. You'd be entering a guilty plea to 1 count of panhandling, and the proposed sentence would be 1 day. You were booked in January 14th, so you'd have credit for time served. Ms. Imhoff, is that your understanding of the plea?
Yes,
And do you understand that you do have the right to a trial?
yes,
And do you understand that at a trial, Mr. Lulich or one of the other appointed attorneys would help you at that trial?
yes,
And do you understand that prior to going to trial, you'd be able to review the discovery, look at the police reports, that kind of thing?
yes,
And do you understand that at a trial, your attorney would be able to ask witnesses questions?
yes,
And do you understand that if you did go to trial and you were to be found guilty, you would be able to appeal that decision to the Wyandotte County District Court?
yes,
And knowing all of that, are you wanting to accept that plea?
yes,
Okay, so what we'll do is I will accept the city's recommendation, give you credit for time served. There are 2 older cases that are already in a payment status. I'm just going to go ahead and close those, so you have nothing pending with the city, okay?
okay,
So you'll get out later today. You're the last person on the docket, so the good news is we're gonna start the paperwork. The bad news is we gotta get the paperwork done and sent over before you get released, okay?
okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Have a good day.
Thanks.
And that's my list.
All right, thank you.
Good weekend. A reminder, we're closed Monday.
That's right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye all.
Have a good weekend. Go Chiefs.
Yeah.
Bye.